Viewer discretion highly advised. At least one of us may be under the influence.
What do you mean under the influence? I've not taken anything except for pain medication and something else to relax me.
Uh-huh.
Look,
I know.
Look, I'm going to say the news. If there's any dentists watching, how do I pull a tooth out painlessly? I was going to go into Amazon. You can actually buy the pliers for taking teeth out on Amazon. $14.95.
It's amazing what you can get on that Amazon, huh?
It's actually really amazing what you can get on there. You can buy a house on there.
Yeah, you can buy little houses on there that you can build yourself, and they're pretty much just fold out.
And everybody's wondering why I'm not got my headphones on. I've got the voice playing through the laptop. Hence, it no hurt my pair cheeks.
Oh, you poor thing.
I know. I could put my wig on, I suppose. Look at that.
Him in that damn wig.
I'm no under the influence, but look. What? Do you like my sign, everybody? It says, warning, no stupid people beyond this point.
I think I need to get a shirt that says that. Wear it to work.
I was going to get one for the front gate of my house because the amount Jesus, what is it with Jehovah's Witnesses coming to your door?
I know, right?
See, when they came to my door, no, there was a salesperson came to my door first, trying to sell me stuff, and I had my raging toothache through the week, and I'm like, look, come on, piss off. I shut the door, locked it. I sat down and put my Star Trek Enterprise back on because I'm watching the old series again. And another chap at the door, and it was what was his name? Wasn't somebody else selling something? Honestly, you need to put a moat with alligators. Put a sign up: "Do not clap the alligators." What?
Nothing. It's like you actually have old school door-to-door salesmen still over there?
I got one today, and it was for Oxfam. Wanted me to donate, and I said, "Don't you take the piss?" Oh, I'll tell you who the other one was that came to my door. The Labour guy, because you can't have we're voting for a new Prime Minister soon. It was the guy for one of the folk for. Are you voting for Labour? No. Shut the door.
Nah, I was about to say, most days, if we get people trying to sell shit at our door, it'd either be a little girl with some candy, or it's usually followed by a warning by local police saying that they're trying to use a door-to-door salesman act
you can
scout
actually
out houses to rob.
You can actually put no soliciting on your front door, and it's actually illegal for them to come to your door.
But I like the candy though.
It's quiet the night, isn't it? There's not many folk on. I don't know what's happening. Has Elena got a thing on the night, or no? Dots is there. So is Lawrence.
I don't know. Man.
I was looking for the devil cards for the Lawrence. I was looking for the devil cards. Where's the devil cards? Where did I put the devil cards?
You just gotta be picking on poor old Lawrence. I know we said we were going to be talking about the readings tonight, but come on, man.
I wouldn't. Would I do that to Lawrence? Would I honestly just look at the devil card, especially just for Lawrence?
Yeah, you would. You said you loaded the deck. You loaded the fucking deck.
No, I said I was going to Vegas. I said I was going to do it, but then I changed my mind. Ken, I've got demonic tarot cards there.
Demonic or Crowley?
No, Alistair Crowley tarot cards. They're based off demonic demon tarot cards. I shouldn't maybe tell Alan that because he'll be running about screaming. No, I'm serious.
Yeah.
Didn't get them. Two shakes. I've got them all sitting up here.
Yeah, I used to have a Crowley deck. But
I've got about 40 decks now.
Whatever you decide to use with them is strictly your business, Chris.
Either code. What's that? What did you say there?
Oh, you mean the card deck? Oh shit!
Oh, honestly,
I thought you said
you're into collecting. I ken he's into collecting dildos, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't ken he's getting that or not. But no, these are the occult.
Yeah, good old Mr. Crowley.
No, I'll tell you something new. I don't like using these because they're, well, I use them with myself, right? Because they're awfully accurate, and it's not just that. Some folk get offended, get what I mean, because they're demonic and stuff like that. Get what I mean? They've got the,
Honestly,
some folk
when it
don't
comes
like that kind of hang. You can't what you get. You got all these mad
fucking
naysayers.
hell. Crowley would probably fit in with most modern crowds today if he
Yeah.
were alive.
The demons.
He honestly probably would.
Oh, but the world's changing now. It's not like it used to be. Can I mean you would burnt at the stake for like no singing the Lord's Prayer or something like that? I mean,
and if anything, fucking Crowley, I swear the man was just trying to screw with people sometimes. He knew how easy it was to fuck with people's heads, and he had fun with it.
You know something, Alistair Crowley, if you came back, I would vote for you as Prime Minister. What could possibly go wrong?
Nothing that isn't already going on.
No. There's simply Alan in the chat. Good evening, Chris. Dakota, Face, Green, Smith. Why does it not show me what it actually puts? But it actually tells me what it puts.
Because the pictures that YouTube has for its emojis aren't necessarily compatible, so it shows us the code that gets put in the chat whenever they pick those pictures.
So, what's the show about tonight?
So I got to thinking. We did the readings last week.
Mm-hmm.
I see that actually went pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we fit on pretty good with the audience, and naturally we had a lot of beautiful women in the audience, so that helps out a lot. Just saying, ladies. Guys, show some ladies some love, otherwise you are gonna be dead meat. Anyway, so I got to thinking, what if we actually went to discuss readings? How they actually work. It's things to look out for in dealing with frauds.
All right. I'm going to say this, right? And this is something that really annoys me. I've noticed this in TikTok, and I was actually talking to that guest we had on a couple of weeks ago.
Which one?
Give me one moment. Jesse, stop making a noise. Bloody making a weird noise outside. But anyway, it's my dog, ladies and gentlemen. She was nibbling at something. But never mind that. I don't know if you've noticed this on TikTok. One person will make a reading, right? And then everybody copies that person. And do you know what I've noticed, right? I'll take my cards out, right? And this is on a TikTok especially, I've noticed this, and I noticed it today, right? You'll get people that shuffle the cards, right?
Aye.
And then for instance, I'll just pick one at random, right? But the Ace of Cups, right? Everybody knows the Ace of Cups is quite a good thing. I mean, it's basically it's really good, right? But they'll pick a card, and then they'll say, "Oh yes, you've got to be in a card crash if you don't subscribe to me in the next 25 seconds and stuff like that." And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, but that's the Ace of Cups. It doesn't mean that. And then there's people out there that've got zero reading skills whatsoever. They'll pick a card, any card. I don't know what this one is, but we'll soon see. And the Queen of Pentacles, right? And they'll be, "Oh, aye, I can see it now. You're going to fall in love and get carried away." But then when you look at it, it doesn't mean that. There's a lot of fakes and a lot of frauds out there. There's too many now. Far too many.
Well, yeah. It's easy to get your hands on a deck these days. I mean, we were just talking about it. Amazon, you could buy your own fucking house on Amazon. Like how you used to be able to on the Sears catalog. Build it within a couple hours at most because of how easy it is.
It's not just that, Tay. There's a lot of folk on there that taking advantage of a lot of folk. It's quite interesting because a lot of the good tarot card readers will actually charge for their readings.
Yeah.
Right? They'll put a thing at the bottom and say, "If you want like a private reading, message me and I'll put you in a list," kind of thing. But there's a lot of them that will actually come to your page. I left a comment. I can't help it. I argue with a lot of folks, right? I left a comment saying, "Oh, aye." I would say, "Oh, aye, thumbs up and stuff like that." And they actually contacted me. And before them says it, "Well, that's just a bot." It was the channel because it had something like 100,000 followers. And they says, oh, for $55, I'll give you your love reading. And I went, no, it's all right. Okay, I mean, that's how they're making their money. And they're pulling cards that don't mean what they mean.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I mean, which really annoys me. Okay, I mean, because they're taking advantage of folk.
Oh, yeah. You have to take into consideration each image is supposed to represent something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Basic understanding. Now, when it comes to being able to shuffle the cards, you explain the deck as they get pulled for that individual you're trying to give a reading for.
Yeah.
It's all essentially it falls on the idea that those cards represent fate.
Yes.
Those cards are meant to show for you. That's why they came out. Especially if you had cards that all of a sudden start flying out of the deck's hand, even though somebody may just have shitty hands and from old age or whatever the situation may be. But nevertheless, it's a game of chance.
Yes, this is what I'm going to say, right? This is quite interesting. You brought that out about the cards flying out. Now, I'll show you something in a minute. When that happens with the tarot deck and I'm using the tarot deck, I pick it up and put it straight back in again. But it's different with an oracle set.
How so?
Oracle sets, we're not going to get one. There's some there. Oracle sets are totally different because they're no tarot, right? That's an oracle set, right? So this is spirit animals, right?
Mm-hmm.
And right, this is what I'm going to say, right? We oracle cards, most oracle cards always give you a good ending.
True. I've noticed that.
There's their cards there, right? For instance, right? So, for instance, I've no drew a card today for myself. So let's see, right? So every card in an oracle deck will always tell you basically that something good's going to happen to you.
Okay.
I like to use the tarot cards with the oracle deck because sometimes it lines up. Do you get me?
Mm-hmm.
But I've never had an oracle set that's gave me like warnings ever. So if I just randomly pick one, right, here we go, dragon, passion, right, and it says the dragon is a reminder to use strong will, fiery personality, symbol of passion, right, blah blah blah. It's good, right? It's good, right? It's always going to say, doesn't matter what one I pick. Like, I'll shuffle that again. I'll put it on this side. I'll draw another one. Here we go. The bear, strength. It's always going to be good. But it's different when it comes to tarot cards because tarot cards don't lie. And it is a game of chance, too. It is a game of chance because you think about it. Right, let's just randomly pick a card here, right? Look at that. You came what that card means, didn't you? It's the 7 of Wands. What does it mean?
Can't recall off the top of my head.
It means you're headed for a rocky road. There's bumps in the road. You're basically driving down the road, and there's got to be hazards in the road, or if you walk, you've got to be holes in the road, right? So basically, no, every one of them is bad, but quite a lot of them are bad, right? But that just helps the tarot reader with the story, right? But I'm going to say this: there is a game of chance in tarot card reading today. Slight game of chance. And the reason I say that is because everybody will have something in common. Everybody's got bumps in the roads in their life, don't they?
Exactly.
Think about it.
Especially as of late.
Yeah. And I'll just randomly look, Talkie Lawrence. There's the devil, right? No, this is a lot of folk don't realise this, but I found this quite interesting. It was with a psychic friend. It was actually Lisa that told me this. I think it was Lisa that told me this. The way tarot cards, you can also read them in reverse. So if you have it this way, if you get the devil this way, it means forbidden realm, impure desires, evil powers, lust and seduction. But if you read it in reverse, it means something totally, absolutely, completely different. Which it means liberation from the material world. You see where I'm going with this? And freedom from the stress and stuff like that, it means something totally different. But as you say, it is a game of chance. There is a game of chance in it. Everybody's got something in common with the cards. Nearly everybody's got something in common with the cards.
Mm-hmm.
But it's what you see when you're doing it. And you can. It's when, right, say for instance, Alan in the chat, and I'm giving him a tarot reading, and he gets the devil in reverse, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you're using your abilities, if you've got abilities, because I know you've got abilities, I've slight abilities, I'm still training in them, you'll tap into that. You see where I'm going with that? And you'll maybe see things. Look what happened with that woman with the cars and the motorbike smash.
Aye.
Right. That's where I'm going. But then you get people that do tarot card readings. They don't know what the cards mean because, let's face it, some of the people are just stupid in this world, right? And they'll draw one. Like, say, for instance, there's the Fool. That can mean quite a lot of things. He's walking along, he's going on adventures, but there's got to be risks ahead because he's came to a cliff. He's standing on a cliff, right? There's got to be risks ahead. But some people will draw that and they'll be like, oh, look at that, the guy's really happy, he's walking along. Oh, you're going to have a great week. Everything's got to be fine. But that's not what it really means. Because they don't care what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I'm not saying that I'm an expert in this kind of stuff. I've been doing tarot card reading for only about 7 years, but I've never done it for people. Do you get me?
Yeah, no, you actually want to take into consideration those private reading requests that you keep getting.
Aye. I've got, what do you call it? I've got books on tarot card reading.
Mm-hmm.
But there's stupid people out there that don't know how to use them, but they make them work. This is what I'm going to say, guys, right? And this is what really annoys me. See, with TikTok, they'll do a reading, but it'll be for everybody. How is that possible?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I mean, they'll go through the Aquarius, Sagittarius, they'll go through that, right? And they'll probably go through them all and leave one out, right? And they'll say, oh, I've got to have loads of monies. Oh, in the next year, you're going to come into some money. Look, everybody's got to come into some money at one point in a year. It's different when you're doing it face to face and when you're doing it for somebody. Do you agree?
You actually make a valid point. There's a couple of different things when I used to do phone readings. I didn't use cards. I used to go straight raw, first thought impressions, do what I can to focus on the individual, but not know the person's story.
Mm-hmm.
Simply because that was just how I was trained to do it. The better you go, the more you go into certain types of readings when it comes to those types of blind, the better. That means the results are more genuine and you have less chance of contamination.
Yeah.
When it comes to, say, like TikTok and them pulling out a random card, some of them are a little bit smarter about it.
Yeah.
I guess you could say it's a bit of technomancy, as I imagine Mike would probably say. They would leave it as blank as possible so the algorithm works its magic, for a lack of a better word. But nevertheless, like you said, it's very difficult to try to do a mass reading because not everybody's going to be under similar circumstances. But the thing is, when it comes to these readings, a majority of the people you go out there for readings, they're going to rely on very vague statements that can just apply to anybody. Say, oh, Teresa Caputo, she's especially bad for this, as an example. Yeah. Say, oh, she's doing a talk show. She starts going off towards the audience. Who has a relative that died recently that was always cold? Chances are, if they live in certain areas and they had the relatives who recently died, preferably, let's just say from old age, old people tend to get cold really easy.
Yeah.
Even if they're under the healthiest of circumstances, they tend to get cold. It's a vague statements like that come through to where They're just basically shooting blanks until something hits the wall. And that's the main thing. And as well as if you go for more one-on-one readings, and it seems like they're getting it right, which is usually one of the first things to look out for, is how consistent they are with their answers. If they get it about, I'd say about 80%, if you want to slap it accurate, maybe there's something to it.
Oh, well,
but the trick is to hide that fact that you may have abilities is if you actually know basic psychology and know how to read people.
That's what I was going to say. I've seen psychics. I've met absolutely fakers out there, right? I've met some amazing psychics out there that wouldn't know you for who you are, and you could go to, and they wouldn't even need to touch you. You could actually tell you everything about you. But then I've actually been to a few events, like kind of like parties and stuff like that, where they've got a psychic in, right? And there's Mr. Amazing. I can't remember what the guy's name was, but it was years ago. And he did the first thing he did when he went, he says, "Listen, I'm getting a woman coming through for the other side now. It's somebody in here, and she passed in the last 4 years." And all the horns went up straight away.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then so that gives him right. So there's, let's say, 50 people here, and 47 of them have got somebody that was a female died 3 years ago. Right. So he'll go with the woman, and then he'll exploit them. He'll be like, "Oh yes, and she wasn't well at the end. And the woman will go, "Oh, she had the bad bug thing that was going about." And oh yes, she couldn't breathe. I've noticed a lot of people doing that lately, especially, it was in the last 3 or 4 years, the woman passed and she had something wrong with her chest. And somebody will go, "Oh, my mother passed away and it was the bug." Right? I know people that have gave me readings where they've went, and these are real people, and they've went, "You had a grandmother," and they didn't even know who I was. Didn't even know my real name. It was my YouTube name. There was no way they could find it out in that space of time. I've never put anything online about my grandmother dying, ever. And they described her to a T to what she wore and what she was like. And they hardly ever asked me a question whatsoever. But there is a lot of psychology in it. There is.
And I noticed it too when we were doing the readings, that there was a couple people that went on, they were feeding us the stories, and I'm just sitting there like, no offense, I understand you may be going into this, you may not be taking this very seriously, you may just be doing this for fun, I don't know. But if you want something legit, shut up. Don't feed them the story. That's what Dots pointed out that the term for it is called cold reading. A lot of these fake psychics, these fake channelers, these fake readers, that's what they want you to do. You're just feeding them the information, and they're just repeating it back to you, just slightly with different wording.
You'll notice when I'm doing my readings, I tell people, especially like Iron Firehorse or one of my moderators, Lawrence or whatever, I tell them in the chat, no to tell me anything. I don't want to ken anything. Yes or no, or wait to the end, then tell me. Okay, I mean, but I've had people coming in and it'll be like a big spiel. They've used the 500 letters. They've used the entire 560 letters or something you get on YouTube. You're scrolling through it and you're like, what is this? And they're they're doing that for people. There's people out there that'll take £35 to £40 for you for a reading, right? They'll see that, they'll read that, and then they'll just shuffle the cards. They'll draw in a card for you, and they'll say, "Oh yes, this happened." They'll go, "Oh my God, this person's amazing." How did they know that? Because you've just told them. Look, there's people out there that pay, like Ken, the charge for tarot card readings. I know people, professional people, and they're fucking fantastic at it. But then I know people out there that take advantage of people. They take advantage of people. That's why I do it free. The only reason it kind of annoys me, because I get message after message. "Oh, can I have a private reading? Can I have a private reading?" I said, "Well, just come in during the day. And if you're lucky enough, you'll get a reading for free. oh no, I want a private reading. I says, well, I'm not doing that now. Okay, I mean, so I just don't know sometimes, you know.
Here's the thing. I know in our private
chats,
you and I, you've kind of talked about kind of considering it, you know, how to set something up. Granted, you asked me as I was doing a bunch of yard work, and my head was slightly cooked from it being like almost 30 plus Celsius here.
Mm.
Yeah, but anyway. But the thing is, the one I also got to thinking about it once I had a chance to cool down. Some of those people are probably going to be the ones that are going to turn against you the quickest.
Oh, yeah.
The second you go to give them something real.
Mm-hmm.
If it doesn't go into their favor. And
yeah.
Unfortunately, again, this kind of plays into the psychology bit that where people may be going through something legitimate, but they're not wanting to hear the truth. They're wanting to hear what they're wanting to hear.
See, that's why I do it for free. Because what do I have to gain to lie to someone? Let's face it.
Exactly.
I'm doing it for free. I'm doing it. I maybe I've not done it for a while because of my tooth abscess and stuff like that for the last 3 days, but I do it usually for 2 hours every day, completely free charge. Completely free. And then there'll be people out there saying, oh, but you're making money for monetization. Look, 3,000 views on YouTube, you make about £1 or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Before you even go that way, right? I do it for free. And what would be the point in me making up bullshit about somebody? I could see the point if I was making like $50 or $60 every time, right?
Yeah.
But no, for free. This is what you'll get, and this is the honest truth. There's a lot of people out there that will only give you one free reading once a week or something like that. But that's just to draw you in. That's to draw you in, right? So that you like, for instance, say like Dots, for instance, right? Say we don't know who he is, right? He sees somebody and they'll be like, oh, come at my channel, I'm doing a free reading. So they'll get a free reading. And then at the end it will say, so if you want anything further, message me and we can do a private reading, meaning you have to pay your 40 quid or your 35 quid or whatever.
Oh yeah, there's another common tactic a lot of these groups will use, say like it's an online chat thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you'll have to pay a timer, you know, say like $50 for an hour, just throwing out prices here. But you'll get maybe the first 3 minutes free.
Okay.
You go to ask your question just to get things started, but then you won't hear an answer back until that timer reaches about 2 minutes 58.
Mm-hmm.
You won't even see them typing anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can't see it. And they obviously, maybe it's a relationship situation or a family who's going through some medical issues and you're wanting to know whether or not they're going to be okay. You're going to want to pay that money. Otherwise, it's going to be nagging at you. It's, again, a good majority of this stuff is a major psychological game.
Of course it is.
I'll be honest. During the readings, I believe it was Bobby Joe that was doing it. She started talking a little bit in the chat about her story. And yeah, I can equally say, you know, because it's me, this was a one-off situation, but you could tell just by how she was writing things. And I no hate against her whatsoever. I'm just using her as an example. That obviously something pretty serious went down to make her kind of go down this path. And she's trying to rebuild. And if she happens to catch this, or well, then again, she probably gets us as we're getting ready to sign off for the night. Depending on what her circumstances are, she overcame something pretty big.
Yeah.
And that in itself is honorable. That's what, if anything, that's what she needs to realize. And every now and then you'll get a reader out there who sees that and will try to genuinely help. But they are so few and far between these days.
Yeah. I mean, there is a lot of people who know all they care about is money. I would love money, right? Everybody loves money. Money makes things a wee bit better in life and stuff like that. But you should try and help people. There's a thing called karma, right? And if you help somebody, that will come back on you. I was shocked the other day. I seen something the other day. I'll talk about it after the show if you want. But I seen something the other day and I was like, there's folk out there that just take a Lenny every situation.
Mm-hmm.
Every situation. And they try and turn it into making money. Even if it's somebody's been killed situation kind of thing. You try and use it. And you think to yourself, holy shit, what are you on? You know what I mean? When you see this kind of stuff, you know what I mean? I mean, I'll continue to do it for free. But the only problem that is with me is there is people they message. I get maybe about 5 or 6 private reading requests after me a week, right? And I've got my 2 hours every day that I do for you, or my hour every day that I do for you. Sometimes I can only do an hour, sometimes I can do 2 hours. I can't take time out my own life, right, to come and give like a private reading. That's what if I did charge for it, I think I would give most of the money away to charity. You know, because it's a thing to do, isn't it?
Well, yeah. And I'll be honest. Let's face it. Right now, who doesn't have some sort of financial issues just trying to get by their day to day, right?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't necessarily take too much out of somebody if they're trying to build some sort of living off this type of stuff, because let's just face it, we're all needing to do something a little extra to get by these days.
Why?
And
there's nothing wrong with it. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with like charging an all right amount, but what I'm saying is don't take a loan of someone and don't keep, come back tomorrow for your next reading kind of thing, and then come back the next day for another reading. There's people like that. Oh, I can't tell you any more. The spirits are saying that can't tell you until the more. So if you pay an extra £25, the spirits will come back and tell me the more, kind of thing. And I can't folk that do that all day long, and they make a fortune.
It blows my mind the people that fall for that, because I'm sorry, what does a spirit need with fucking money?
Exactly.
Is there some? I mean, I know you have, say, like, in Chinese culture, they have prayers, in full-on ceremonies around earning more money. It's just part of their culture. But a lot of Chinese people will also point out that these gods have no understanding of inflation.
Yeah.
So they go to sometimes blame their own gods for the financial crisis that's going on.
I know.
Yeah, but that's just
it's like they fake
light of a situation.
It's like they fake preachers. It's like the fake preachers in Christianity. I mean, you see some of the American preachers. You ken the ones I'm talking about. What's that guy's name? Is it Bishop? No, Bishop. What's his name? What's that crazy one? He's absolutely mentally. Mind you, get interviewed with the woman in the TV show, the news report, because he bought a private jet.
Oh God, I know. I think I know.
You can't even talk about it. He's mad. He's a raving lunatic, but he's worth something like $500 million or something like that.
I know.
Kenneth Copeland. Copeland. Right. Come on. Whoever believes that shit, I'm going to say this, I'm not offending any of you Christians out there and stuff like that, but if you believe that shit, it's utter fake. Did you see what happened at one of his rallies the other day?
Oh, what's that?
He was standing and his preaching where he jumped about the stage and saying he was speaking, and he speaks in weird languages and all that kind of stuff. So a lot of preachers have actually come out and said that he's not who you think he is. Right? And see how they do the ceremonies where they cut their hand and I will drink his blood. No, that they never cut their hand. They didn't cut their hand. They just looked like that. But he was doing his sermon the other day, and a guy stood up in the audience and he taken out the Bible and he says, "You're not teaching the ways." And his guys come up and dragged him out the building.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Because historically speaking, a lot of these fraudsters, entire cultures, countries, religions, have taken advantage of the fact that not enough people stand up and ask questions.
Yeah.
And let's face it, one of the quickest way you're going to be able to spot a fake psychic, a fake reader out there is to start asking their legitimacy. I mean, perfect example, I can remember that TV show that came out, I think it was like back in 2005 when it was airing.
This is now the Amazing Randy, is it? No.
No. I actually, James Randi, I think we need more people like James Randi to call out this bullshit. But I believe it was called Phenomenon. It was just, basically the point of the show was to have people come on, prove psychic abilities, right? They had Uri Geller and Chris Angel as judges.
Uri Geller.
Yeah. Uri Geller, obviously questionable. And I know he's trying to get himself back in the limelight again with the UFO topic. Maybe he has something legit. I don't know. He did trick a lot of high-profile individuals. But one incident that I fully believe was what shut down the show was this gentleman who set up this, like, he had like a ring light around him, not like he would use for social media camera. He had a ring of light around him, and he said that there was this spirit, I believe was like named Robert or something. Not the same one that comes to your house, is it?
No, he's standing
anyway, I'm just making a joke. Anyway. And you've been cheating me. You've been cheating me. This whole stunt was saying that this spirit was telling him what was inside this enclosed box that he allegedly had no clue about what was in it. He would describe a metal. It had 4 wheels. It was a little toy taxi, right?
Yeah.
So Chris Angel, obviously, big time magician. He knows just about every trick in the book there is.
Yeah.
He pulls out an envelope, says, if you can tell me what's in this envelope right now, I will give you my bottom dollar. This so-called psychic went ballistic.
Yeah.
He was so pissed about it. Eventually, Chris Angel did reveal what was in the envelope. He wrote, on a piece of paper, he wrote down 9/11. He was referencing the Twin Towers for that.
Yeah. I'm going to say this now, right? There is psychics out there that are no psychic in that sense. There's psychics out there that they can hear the dead, they can speak to the dead, and they can see the dead, right? But they can't tell you what the winning lottery numbers is because that's a game of chance. And they can't tell you what's in an envelope because they can't see through paper. But they can see like spirits, and they can see ghosts, and they can see all that kind of stuff. But then you get the other psychics out there that say they can read your mind and all that. I don't think I've ever came across one of them. Have you ever came across one of them that they say they can read your mind and stuff?
Yes, I have. And again, I realized what this guy was doing. He was watching for body language. He was reading people's body. He was profiling to try to understand what was going on. He would pick someone who had some sort of vibe just by looking at anybody who would look at this individual could tell something pretty heavy was probably on their mind in that moment. And he would start to try to engage them. That's what he was doing.
Viewers. There is people out there, remote viewers. I mean, look at Lisa Fry. She's one of the best mediums that I've ever met, right? And she does all that kind of the same as you. You speak to the Galactic Command or whatever they're called. Okay, I mean, but there is folk out there that just take a pure lane of the system. Did you see the episode with Amazing Randy? Oh my God, this has gone back. You probably have to watch it. It's an old one where they get this guy's like a Chinese guy and he can make the pages of the phone book go now with his hands.
Yeah, I've seen this one.
He says, "I when you go date for this." So he started doing it, and he says, "Right, no problem." He says, "I've got one test. Go, just give me a minute." And he ripped up loads of he put loads of polystyrene around about it. He says, "Oh, you go date again for this." Like that. Oh, I can't do it. Oh, the energies are not coming down.
Yeah, he was saying that the styrofoam was throwing off the psychic energy, when in reality. Again, Randy, who was a practicing magician, realized he was blowing on the pages.
Of course he was. Of course he was. That's what he was doing.
Exactly.
And that's what a lot of psychics out there. They're blowing the pages. They make shit up. Look, it's like oh, you got these Hollywood psychics, right? Do they know Ken they're going to be meeting Tom Cruise when they go to meet them and give them a reading? Do they know Ken that they're going to be meeting all these top Hollywood actors and actresses when they go to meet them? Obviously, they'll do their research before they go there.
There's one who's become pretty popular in the last couple of years that I've noticed, who I'm a little bit more convinced he's on the real side. His name's Tyler Henry. You can find his stuff on Netflix.
TikTok, yeah.
Yep, I've actually invited him to come on the show, but we'll see. I noticed with him, he has a lot of the same triggers I've noticed that a lot of the genuine psychics have. You know, one thing that he does as he's doing his reading, he basically scribbles on a notepad and he describes the sensations he's getting. And again, he tries to emphasize, granted, it's easy to fake stuff for television. I will say that. But he also emphasizes that anybody who comes in contact with him, whether they bring like objects of whatever they want him to focus on, whatever you kind of related to, he emphasizes, please don't tell me until I get done.
Yeah.
Again, easy to fake for television, but nevertheless, he has a pretty good track record. And when I say that he has a lot of the signs, I've noticed that the way his eyes react are very similar when somebody's having a seizure.
I've noticed that.
And I've noticed that with a lot of psychic individuals or anybody who has extraordinary abilities and can actually prove that something weird is going on with them. They have a lot of triggers that may indicate they have some sort of seizure activity going on in their brain. And it's actually been measured on a few occasions that this is happening. That there is a legitimate physical phenomenon that takes place when these readings transpire. Now, granted, this is going to be one of the hardest things to test because it means strapping these people to a bunch of wires all damn day or potentially putting them into some very moral and ethically challenging scenarios just to see what gets triggered. Because let's say you have a lot of stories of people who take a heavy blow to the head and all of a sudden they're able to read people, see spirits.
Oh yeah,
you had those legitimate stories. It does happen.
You see, that's why, because there's parts of the brain that we used to use a very long time ago, obviously in the ancient civilizations, but we've got parts of the brain that's kind of dormant. And I think when this happens, this trauma happens, it activates something. There's something.
It could very well be the case.
Yeah.
I mean, you see it with a lot of Dr. Stephen Greer studies when it comes to the ET phenomenon. He talks about how in ancient texts there's descriptions of people being able to teleport, to be able to walk through walls. And this very same communication is how contact with extraterrestrials, CE5 protocols runs. Yeah. It can actually be measured. And people who followed some of the early stuff from Bald and Bonkers know when some of the weird shit's happened around me, my EMF would start spiking.
Yeah.
When it absolutely should not have in the first place.
I've noticed when my chum comes into the room, it gets really cold. And because I see when I'm using like my pendulum and stuff like that, and he comes into my room, the temperature drops. I always wondered why that happens. Why does the temperature drop? It must be the energy running about. You think energy gives off like heat, wouldn't know, but it makes it colder, doesn't it?
Honestly, my theory when it comes to situations like that, and Dots just put it in the chat.
Yeah,
a lot of the brain waves. Delta is especially heavy when it comes to these activities, but a lot of other measurements show that every other form of brainwave is firing off at once, and that is something that should not necessarily be happening. But back to what I was saying. Fuck, what were we talking about? I just lost my train of thought.
You were talking about... Oh, my God. We were talking about the energy and psychics. Oh, my God.
Right. You were talking about how, the cold spots, right?
No.
The basic way I think that works out is a lot like how, say, you're in the middle of a hot summer day and you go to walk into a house that's been nice and air conditioned all day.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get that slam of air, that rush of air,
Mm-hmm.
that cold air. Something's always telling me that it's the way the densities or the dimensions, however you want to word it, interact in those manifestations. It's causing a very similar effect.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you get cold spots.
I always find it intriguing because it's when he comes into the room. I'm not joking you. This bit could be warm, but this bit could be cold, and you could basically put a ruler through it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like this bit could be freezing cold, but this bit could be warm.
Mm-hmm.
And you can actually move into the cold and then move back into the warmth again. So it's obviously an energy barrier. And I do think a lot of the kind of top mediums out there, they can use this energy barrier. They can use that. Look, I don't know what it's like to be like a top medium. I ken that you can do this kind of stuff, right? And I ken that Lisa can do this stuff, and that person we had on the other night can do that kind of stuff. But I always find it interesting how it tires you out, because see when I'm doing the tarot card readings, I start to get burnt out after like 1 hour and 40 minutes. I get burnt out. Can you imagine what that's like for like somebody that's performing on a stage for like say 400 people?
It's overwhelming at first, but it's essentially there is a muscle-like response to it. The more you get to it, the more you're used to it. That's the thing. But also,
Hey, Scottish, looking.
We're kind of starting to dig into some of the more exotic aspects of it.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I do see a lot of is warnings against channeling a lot in this when it comes to talking about this type of stuff, and to be very careful because people don't necessarily know for 100% certainty who exactly is coming through when those channelings are taking place.
Aye, you're not really talking to your great aunt McDougal. You could actually be talking to something black with red eyes.
Oh no, you're right. You're right. A lot of these, there's a lot of entities out there. We kind of got into a little bit with Michelle Roos when she was on, and a little bit with Claire Ford, that a lot of things out there can actually be very good impressionists. But at the same time, there's been a lot of studies in these brainwaves that we're talking about that are potentially connected with psychic abilities, that it is believed that several governments who, you can say like for Project Stargate, just as an example, have such an understanding of this, they figured out how to manipulate it and potentially cause individuals who think they're psychics, they may fully believe themselves that they're receiving psychic messages from some higher being, but they're actually being manipulated by an outside source. And they could very well be very human, just very smart with technology.
I've witnessed this a few times, right? And I don't know if you've ever witnessed this. You ever met people that believe that they're they're really psychic, right? But in actual fact, they've got zero psychic abilities. You ever met somebody like that?
Yeah.
I met one like that once, and I just couldn't believe it. I mean, they got everything wrong, right? But what they were saying, they actually believed it to the core, that they were like they knew everything, the meaning of the universe, they ken everything, but they believed it that much they thought they had the gift. And that is a lot of the psychics out there that take your money for you.
Yeah. I will say that there's a lot of people, but what I was saying is that there could be individuals who do get it right, though, but are still being manipulated. Because there's beings on both sides that will give you inside knowledge about certain events that you should not have any knowledge of.
Oh, yeah.
It happens from both sides. It's not, just say like angels and demons, just as an example. The angels are the ones that are all knowing. The demons are going to lie. No, the demons will tell you the truth too. And there are angels out there who don't give a fuck.
What I'm going to say is this, right? With that, incident I had where I seen the woman in the motorbike and it actually happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that was me that seen that happen. And I think something was hanging about me, right? And it decided to give it to me. I don't know if they're angels. I don't know who they are, spirit guides or whatever they're called, right? I think it was them that gave that to me to pass the message on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not taking any psychic responsibility for that. I do feel like I do know stuff, and maybe I'm starting to open the door to things more, but I wouldn't say I was a psychic.
But
But
the
there's
thing
people
is,
who would use that.
in my experience, Chris, when those events tend to happen, obviously these are going to be moments of high emotion, high stress, right?
Mm-hmm.
It may cause a bit of a panic response, and it is believed that certain psychic abilities will manifest as an exotic protection method in a way, a matter of survival.
Mm-hmm.
Which brings into the question, how long has this stuff actually been with us when you really think about it? But there's actually something I wanted to share when in regards to the channeling. And this is something that I know you'll probably remember when I bring it up.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a while. Remember some of those channeling experiments I used to do on air?
Oh God, aye.
It was before we started balling bonkers, but when all of a sudden my eyes started to glow, people would start getting concerned
Mm-hmm.
because of how far deep I was getting.
Mm-hmm.
I want to show people something right now and see if my computer will cooperate with me as I go to bring
Use
it
my psychic
up.
abilities. Humzia. 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 If you like a
Right.
free reading, please click on the. Aye, that's just weird looking.
It was like, you remember this?
Aye.
So the video is still up for anybody who wants to risk taking a look. It's one of our own backup channels that just kind of got absorbed into the company. But with this, I had set off a red strobe light to basically force myself into a channeling state again, using the seizure, basically inducing myself into a seizure just to see what would happen. Look carefully, for those of you on the video side of it, towards the right side.
Looks like somebody with long hair.
Maybe. But right about at this point, if you have the live chat to actually be able to fucking work for you, you'll notice people start coming in and start freaking out. One woman actually said that she had a spirit box kick up all by itself and saying, "Find Dakota now."
See, that's interesting. I mean, who do you think that was? I don't feel it was a spirit. I think it was something else.
That's no spirit.
No.
So with some color correction and a little bit, let's see if it'll let me. Oh, come on, you. There we go. A little bit of color correction. That ain't human.
No, it's like, is it a grey?
It sure as fuck looks like a gray.
Because I can't show everybody, but I do my laptop. I can zoom the page up, which I'm doing now. But no, see that I can see a face.
Mm-hmm. See, about right here, you get a little bit of a slit of a mouth. You got the eyes about right here.
See dots. I see dots says that he sees a grey.
Yeah. So, which begs the question, what the hell did I do to attract the gray?
Don't know. I mean, did the greys know years ago? They used to before they had their extermination problem. But did the greys know years like psychic abilities to move about, stuff like that? What I mean is to communicate.
They could. They had a lot of the greys had a bit of a hive mind.
Aye, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they could.
So basically, if you were talking to one of them in London, the one in New York would know that you were talking to the one in London.
It would
yeah.
It would essentially be like the one in London and the one in New York are the same person.
Well, the Borg,
Is the
who's
way
Star
it
Trek.
works. Some
were
people say
collected.
that's what the Borg was based on, was the hive mind.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But again, this was thinking about. I was looking, just saw Alan's comment. I see an old man and a woman in a hat. Maybe could be some of my relatives, but nevertheless, for some reason, someone who I know was fairly linked when it came to psychic abilities. You know who she was.
Yeah.
There was a bit of a will they won't they situation involving there. All of a sudden, she freaked out, and she has a lot of the same trauma responses we were talking about that could have activated her psychically.
I suppose we'll never really know. One of Elon Musk's, brain implants would be an interesting thing to see what would happen.
Well, once it gets fucking sorted, have you heard the one guy that they actually have one implanted is not doing so hot right now?
Damn, I was going to get everybody to pitch into. We're all going to donate $1. We're going to get you that brain implant. I could do it for you. We could just like a big kind of metal thing, stick it at the top of your head, you know.
I was like, yeah, it's like the one human subject that they have isn't exactly doing so hot right now.
Yep. The mad world we live in.
In theory, I would agree that getting some sort of implants like that to study in a more natural environment what happens to psychic individuals could actually be very beneficial in trying to understand the entirety of the situation. But again, I also can't help but wonder what would happen if someone with these implants were to undergo a legitimate abduction. They're exposed to high amounts of radiation. Think like Betty and Barney Hill, where they actually developed cancer because of what happened to them. What would happen with that implant? Would it short circuit?
See, I find that interesting because a lot of the UFOs with extraterrestrials, their energy is clean, right? So
the
what
energy may be clean, but the thing is but a lot like how, say, when we had the solar flare a while back and we had all those weird tech issues start popping up. Same thing.
Same thing. We'll have to get to a big brain implant. There's a zest. This will be the brain implant, the cheap version. We could have it glued to the top of your head. Like that. A couple of leads hanging out the top of it.
I don't think that putting it on the top of my head would be a very good idea. I'm already knocking my head loose, just trying to get through most doorways.
You know,
just because I can't duck the chat. Quick enough.
Who wants to be used as a human sacrifice? I mean, a human guinea pig to go and be abducted by aliens, but you first have to get a brain transplant thing. Alan, you better that, man. You better that.
Alan, run.
So, Alan, they've got Tunnix tea cakes in the spaceship.
Run.
Big box.
This son of a bitch is going to try to sacrifice it.
Well, you know the way out, yeah.
No, they do have
good Jaw's getting sale now.
I'm pretty sure it probably would have been cheaper just to have me knock you out.
I know.
A lot less pain.
Something we should talk about tomorrow if I'm not rolling about in agonizing pain like last night. Did you see have you seen the video for the body transplant? Human head transplant?
Yeah.
Where they can, I like how they say where they take a perfectly healthy donor body. Where do you get a perfectly healthy donor body?
From someone who don't have their head no more. Well, it's a lot like that girl that had an arm transplant, but the donor she got was male. So she had her arms, like they were cut off at the elbows, and she had man arms attached. But after a while, they noticed that all of a sudden, the hands started to morph, started to look more feminine, and she was a bit more darker complected, while the donor was a white dude. All of a sudden, the skin started to match her natural color.
So what would happen if you take a man's body and put a woman's head on it then?
That's a very good question. And something that would definitely boggle some of the trans community, I would imagine.
I mean, surely God, it wouldn't drop off straight away if you were going through the change.
No, obviously the change wouldn't just be happening overnight. That would probably cause a lot of painful issues when you really think about it. But
look, Alan in the
chat,
knows? He says there's no chance. There's a box of tonic key cakes in it for you if you get it done.
That's if you come back.
That's if you come back. And if you don't worry, I mean, Dakota, I'll have the boxes. There's 6 tonic tea cakes, 3 each. You know.
No, well, we could probably get into that tomorrow. But I was thinking tomorrow we might start divulging a couple future projects that we might have coming up.
What's that?
I think some people might like what we got going on, because I feel like we've kind of derailed off of our initial purpose for a while, and I think this would be a good opportunity to show what Bonkers really is about.
Bold man.
Show. Well, no, I was thinking about maybe inviting some people to come on board for a little project to hopefully get out and about by Halloween. Tune in tomorrow if you want to find out what's going on.
What's that Iron Firehorse says in the chat?
My daughter lives on in 4 organ recipients. 1 man and 3 women live on. Well, all right. Who knows? They've noticed that sometimes with the organ transplants, the donor may live on in very literal ways. I'm not exactly sure why it happens, but nevertheless, it's been well documented.
Christ, as long as they don't take Alan, I bet Alan, every time you walk past a tonic tea cake factory, they'll be chasing after them.
I've honestly been very scared to find out what would happen if someone were to end up with my donated parts. You know what I mean? Just based on everything you know about me, can you imagine what some poor bastard would end up having to go through if they ended up with my or donated parts?
What parts could be used though?
That's actually a very good put. You would have to get that man or woman's soul back due to putting a male or a woman's head on a male's body. You'll know what I mean, lads. Well, here's the thing. You have a lot of stories when it comes to organ transplants where memories, talents, interests of the donor go into the recipient. So, which makes you wonder if the soul has some sort of, say, for lack of better word, DNA components like that, and that could be implanted into others. Say, like how they said what happens with starseeds. Could you technically be transplanting souls in that way?
No.
Or basically like cutting and pasting souls together? The souls, to where it kind of ingrained. You know what I mean? It kind of ingrains into it. Kind of like how the girl who had the man's hands transplanted onto him, where eventually the man's hand started turning into a chick.
Okay, and if you start going like that, do you like my nails?
Not what I mean, you idiot.
Oh God, you're hoping to get that one day. You'll be walking down the road like that.
No, my boobs are big enough as is.
Oh God. Oh, I love Tonic's tea cakes. Tea Cakes Factory is my second home. Yep.
So Chris tells me, Alan. So
he's the Hannibal Lecter of the chocolate loving world.
Alan as Hannibal Lecter. That's a very interesting visual.
Where's your tonic tea cakes?
Anyway, we're past the hour, and the Scottish man has found a way to actually shut up.
Aye, it's called a seared jaw.
I never thought I'd see the day, but we are getting to the end, so we may as well just cut off here so Chris can go massage himself real good. Rub himself good all night. God.
That's actually a good point. What was if you changed body parts and women? We're going to
that would work out very well.
Got to be lying, Lawrence and Dots has got to be lying in their beds tonight. Well, obviously, I hope it's separate beds, but they're going to be lying in their beds tonight, and they're going to be thinking about that. Oh, imagine if I was a woman. Dots will be
what
thinking.
Man hasn't thought about that? And what woman hasn't had the visual of what would it be like to be a man?
Very true. Alan, don't you be having any dirty thoughts?
Oh, I'm imagining he's already having those dirty thoughts with plenty of tonics tea cakes.
Yep. At the very end of the conveyor belt, just stuffing them on his face.
Anyway,
ladies and gentlemen, be safe. See you all tomorrow. Dakota is getting abducted by aliens tonight. Bye.
I don't know. Maybe with what I can show you, we might have an answer of why that gray showed up. Do 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 do.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I have some sad news. Dakota was abducted by aliens later on today. And I'll tell you something new, Dakota. Why did you leave? I'd wait and changed your name to something there and you bloody left. I was going to get you bugger that you are.
What are you talking about? I didn't leave.
You left.
I didn't leave. What are you talking about?
I did. Left. I was on here for a couple of milliseconds. Louise, Dots, and Galactic Stardust can hang with it. I've still got a sear face, but it's not as bad as it was.
Well, quit being such a wank. Then you wouldn't have such a sore face from people knocking you the fuck out.
No, it's because it's called having a dodgy dentist. Well, see if you're watching this dentist, man, I'm not coming back to you. I'll have to find somebody else. But, I mean, why would you start pulling a tooth and then decide, oh, I can't get this, I'll just leave it? Can't I mean? And then it gets infected. Amy,
the little dots.
It's getting better. It's getting better.
Stardust, haven't seen you in here in a while, man.
Yeah. I have. That's what I actually said to you, Dakota. I've not seen Galactic Stardust for ages.
I know, right? Pardon me, but I'm still waking up. My partner in crime here had to be my alarm clock.
Yes, I woke him up at 9 minutes to 10 UK time. Need some iron brew. You need some iron brew, and yeah, get some iron brew. Papa Joe is all about beer. He gets that for Amazon. He gets a 12-pack. I think it is for $16 or something like that.
Sounds about right.
You know? Ken Jackson, hope you had a quality time off back on Earth. He's always away in there. I'm telling you, he spends all his time. Oh, I bloody said that still. I can't laugh or smile too much, so that'll be me out again. But look, your eye was floating about there. You ever heard the Space Odyssey song, 2001 Space Odyssey? I can't do that, Dave. Well, you kind of what I'm talking about. And he's just floating about. Things he gets up there. I'm not allowed to go back. Last time I went, I was banned. Terrible.
I don't even have enough brain power right now to come up with
It's okay, everybody.
For that.
It's okay, everybody. Let's all space, the final frontier. I've been rewatching Star Trek Enterprise, kind of one where go out of Quantum Leap. What's his name?
All right. Okay.
Quite good. I'm rewatching all the series again. Oh, Netflix is quite good for that, you know. How's the tooth? It's the swelling's been doing quite significantly. I finished the course of antibiotics, but it's still quite sore. It's not as bad as it was. I think the tooth's dead, to be honest with you, because I can't feel anything with the tooth. So it's just run about it. It's sore. The jaw's a wee bit sore, but it's getting better. But I'll have to go to hospital to. I mean, have you heard anything so ridiculous in your life? You have to go to a hospital to get your tooth pulled out.
Well, it happens.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody the other day there. I know someone that went for 4 wisdom teeth removal.
Ugh.
Mm-hmm. But they knock you out for that over here. I don't know what happens in the US. They over here, they give you an injection at the hospital, like in the day in Scotland, and you're out like a light bulb.
Well,
you know? Bald and Bonkers should open its own dental service, you know.
Oh, dear Lord.
Oh, God.
What am I going to do with you?
A cup of coffee. Do you want to pause it for 5 minutes and go and make yourself like
I've had some caffeine, man.
Red Bull.
But my tolerance is so fucking high for caffeine, man. It don't affect me no more.
Well, that's Iron Brew. The Iron Brew is full of caffeine. I didn't realise that until somebody pointed it out to me.
Still, my caffeine addiction, my tolerance is so high, it hardly affects me no more.
I'm allergic to caffeine. I can only have 2 maximum cans of Iron Brew a day or 1 cup of coffee a day. See the Red Bulls? Because they had to change that because somebody sued them because it said it gives you wings, didn't they? Mind the guys sued them because it said it gives you wings. But anyway,
yeah, that's why they changed it to wings.
Aye, I had one of them once. I thought it was going to die. Honestly, I did. Yeah, my sister had to get knocked out to get hers done. Best of luck with that. Oh cheers. I could think what it could be. Bald and Bonkers goes to the dental hospital. Voyage to the bottom of the earth, or whatever, you know.
I'm sorry, but if you got a dental hospital that's haunted, you might want to be changing yourself some facilities.
Ken, that's so weird you would say that, right? See the dental office where I go in my local town, right? It's actually built in a street, and it's called Lanark, right? But I actually found out hey, Pete. But anyway, see the building itself. It was built in 1305. I was sitting in the waiting room. Aye, it was nice and quiet until all the kids come in and started playing with the toys in the corner. Endure that for about 25 minutes. I don't know what was worse, the pounding sore tooth or the, what do you call it, the kids jumping up and down, playing with their toy set.
You hating kids. My God.
I don't know. It's just a thing. I'm allergic to them. I can't help it. There's Son of the Naked Bigfoot. I was actually talking to Pete the other day there on Twitter. See that thing about the Mothman? That's quite interesting. Did we we not do a show with his dad about Mothman? I can't remember.
I believe so. It's a while ago.
Didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's actually came home. He's back home to the old farm.
Yeah, I heard that he got a distress call from across the Vale and got told to get his ass back home.
It's maybe a good thing because the world's starting to fall apart and like, yeah, I mean, it could be a kind of omen.
Oh,
Heard about your tooth and jaw pain. So I heard I was just listening to that.
You and your apocalypse
wow, it's bloody Seer.
Mentality.
It's bloody Seer. I'll tell you something new, Pete. If I lived near you, I would let you get your multi-tool out and pull that bloody hang out because you probably have more balls than the dentist did a dentist because he wouldn't put, well, he did try and put it out. That's what made it go infected. Arsehole. Honestly, they'll do nothing new. Dentists have that fear. In the olden days, you used to get the gas and you would hear the person screaming in agony and begging to be let go. And then they wouldn't remember a thing after that. You know? Were you still in West Virginia?
Yeah.
There you go. You know?
Oh, yeah. Go for him.
So, the show tonight, what are we talking about tonight, man? What interesting, exciting thing are we talking about tonight?
Well, I don't know. I got to thinking. It's, we're in the, can't believe we're already 6 months through the year already, man.
All right, I've got to say this through. Right. See all this shit in TikTok and everybody on TikTok. Right, I've got a new hobby, right? I spend an hour and a half every day at night annoying the flat earthers, right? I can't help it, right? But no, but here's the thing, right? What is it all the stupid people on TikTok do now? And that's honestly, the stupid people out there, they say, oh, we can't believe we're halfway through the year already. Oh, I think there's been a time warp. It's the Mandela effect. No, it's called a clock. It's called time. That's what happens.
They're trying to say it's the Mandela effect that we're already in the fucking June.
No, they're trying to say that it's like the Mandela effect. It's like, what do you call it? It's like the humans actually all died in 2012, and this is an alternate reality where we're all transported to, but the time here works differently for where the time was. I like to argue with them.
You like just a bitch with everybody. What are you talking about?
I do it. It's a kind of hobby. It's a hobby. I'm actually quite good at it. Oh, there's my dog barking.
You say I'm actually.
No, I'm really good at it.
The second they come after you, you buckle like a chicken.
What's that? I'm still in West Virginia. What's that? Wait, I need to shout at my dog. Give me a minute here.
Jesse!
Tell it shut up. Right, here we go. From what's that? Like the dentist from Little Show. Aye. Flipping hell. Yeah.
Yeah, but still, man, that cannot be healthy for you just going around looking for verbal fights, man.
No, it's a hobby. It's a new hobby. People have got like they collect butterflies. Look at Pete. Look at Pete. He likes to go out in the wilderness and search for things that want to eat you, right? His dad was the same. He liked to go out in the wilderness and look for things that wanted to eat you and drag you to hell and stuff like that, right? Look, there's people, you like doing your music writing and doing your videos and stuff like that. I do my tarot card readings, but I need to have like a relaxing moment. I don't do it that often. I just find it, I don't piss them off to the extent where they want to murder me. I just try and have like a conversation with them.
As you get all Lawrence, and you try to have a conversation. Chris, how long have we been doing shows together now for?
Oh Christ, I've what 3 years or something like that? 4?
Going on. I think we've passed the 3-year mark, safely to say. I know better than you. You've stirred people up to where they wanted to kill you.
I kind of noticed that. I don't know what I can walk into a room of people, and at the end of the day, they all want to kill me.
Yeah, including your co-host.
And I don't even say a word. It's weird. There must have this weird energy that comes off me or something like that. Because I've noticed. Have you ever noticed that? I've tried
You
to be
know,
nice to people. It's just weird.
nah, I think I know what your problem is, man.
Mm.
And something my old math teacher used to call, let's say, said that you suffer from diarrhea of the mouth. But I think Dots here has a good point.
You need to give up. Oh, come on. TikTok's fun. I only use it now and again.
Every day.
Hey, I've got quite a few views in the old UFO videos that's on there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be eaten, but if it works out, they'll be pretty awesome. Oh, there you go. He's got something to look forward to in life if he's been eaten by something in the woods.
You get eaten by something. God. Strange crowd we've attracted, eh?
But we have. But I will admit this: we have actually got quite awesome subscribers.
Oh,
I mean, like Pete's awesome because he's just awesome. Then there's Lawrence. He loves tarot card readings, especially when he gets the double card.
We've got our proper madhouse in here, man. What are you talking about?
We're like all the rejects that nobody likes.
Some days I wonder.
We should start like a foundation, like like something to bring people together, well, people like us,
Mm.
We could change the world in so many different ways.
Actually, I've been contemplating an idea for a while now. Speaking of finding ways to try to bring people together, I like how you did that. I'm just gonna say none of this was scripted at all. We just kind of freeball it 99% of the time. But say, a while ago when we start, I am much mouthier than dead. Oh dear God! And Mike was pretty mouthy. Well, there's my. Like I said, somewhat we've seen from Pete so far. I see Pete as being his father without the filters of old age.
His dad wasn't that older. His dad was only in his 50s, wasn't he? He was only quite in his early 50s, wasn't he? I mean, there was something
he was older than I expected.
I'm going to say this. There was something really wise. I can't. Pete will probably burst out laughing when I say this, but there was something really wise about Mike, right? What's that? I'm in, but I'm shaving my head. Listen, look, I'm going to say this. I was looked up to Pete's dad, Mike the Naked Bigfoot. I seen him as a kind of like Gandalf the Grey type of guy, but a kind of spaced out one. You know, I can say I admired him. There was just something about him. There was just this kind of weird kind of vibe about him. And he was right into his. Did you ken that Mike the Naked Bigfoot was right into what you call it, his books and all that one? What you call it, Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, and I was also surprised to learn when Mike told us that he was into anime.
I
wasn't expecting that. I'm not judging. I'm not judging, but that kind of surprised me. I'll say that. But nevertheless,
something I've never watched ever.
Okay.
It's like that cartoon. What do you call it with the professor and the wee boy? What's that? What is it? It's on Netflix.
Which one?
It's about this guy's a professor and he's got this wee boy, and everybody goes on about it all the time. Oh Christ, what's it called? He looks a bit like that dog. He's what do you call it? Back to the Future, but it's a cartoon.
Oh, Rick and Morty.
Aye, I kind of get into that. I tried. I tried to watch it. And I thought, what the fuck is this shit? And then just turned it off and started watching Star Trek again. Maybe I don't know.
Judging off of the delay from the chat, I'm kind of impressed that Louise managed to get that before I did. But damn. But then again, I'm slow because I'm still waking up. But no, get back to what I said.
I can get back here.
All right, when we first got into Baldwin Bonkers, we did kind of contemplate, doing like some sort of documentary, right? So kind of our like first big hoorah, show the world we're out there, show what we're about, stuff like that. What if we were to try to bring something like that back?
What was that?
What if we were to try to bring of a documentary again?
It's a good idea, but I'm going to say this, right?
All right, come on.
It would be
come
awesome. It'd be awesome today. I need to turn up the volume here on this because I'm not going to through my headphones because obviously my set truth and that. But what I'm going to say is this, right? You need money.
Yeah,
You
very
need
true.
money. You need quite a bit of money. Today, a decent documentary, you're talking thousands and thousands of dollars, right? Or pounds or whatever, right? Or euros or whatever you want to put it. But it's not just that, Tay. You need I mean, if you're going to begin in it, like say for instance, would you be traveling in this documentary?
There might be a little bit of traveling for what I have in mind.
Right. So obviously you want to go to like Mount Shasta and stuff like that, and other kind of like
Well,
mountains out there with like aliens and stuff like that.
Here's the thing. The initial idea was to go do something with the UFO phenomenon, being that there's so much of a focus on it now. But what if we zoom out a bit?
Right.
Do something that focuses more on what leads people into the supernatural itself.
Mm-hmm. I see where you're going with us.
Because think about it. There's not a damn person in this room right now who does not have some sort of story that led them to where they are now.
Jesus, the room that we've got here, that you've been lucky the
people
person.
We've had, the guests we've had on this show, a lot of the stuff we've talked about to our audience members. I have yet to come across somebody who doesn't have some sort of story that led them down this path.
Oh, I know. I mean, if you take like Dots, look at Dots, he's writing his alien stuff like you are. And then if you take Louise is writing into her ghost stuff, but she's also into her alien stuff too. But then if you to talk about Son of the Naked Bigfoot, Pete, for all its holy, the things that he's into would like make the average man run away screaming.
Yeah, exactly. Like Pete said itself, some people are unfortunately born tied to this shit, like myself.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. And you get to talking to groups like Elena, Craig Campbell-Basso, or you go to Dr. Stephen Greer. Every single one of these individuals has some sort of major story that happened to them that kind of bound them into something underneath the supernatural umbrella. What if we were to do something that explores that?
You could. Have you got plans? Have you got plans? Have you put them into motion? Do you have something ready to go up with?
Actually, I do. Well, come on, you know me. I'm always up to something.
Oh, for Jesus, man, you sleep about 1 hour a day. And you were late tonight. You're probably up late last night.
Oh yeah, I wasn't typing away. I was producing a brand new song, plus a trailer that I was hopefully going to try to show people today for a book I'm working on.
Awesome, I've seen it.
Oh yeah. Only 2 people in the world have seen it so far, but we'll just go back to the documentary so we don't bounce around too much. What if we, to build up to it, that we invite everyone that listens to this story to send in a piece for like an anthology. Because we have a book publisher. We can make it happen.
Do you have the Dead Sea Scrolls for Pete's part? Because the stories that he'll have. I don't think we've got enough trees in Canada, to be honest with you, to be turned into paper for that.
Now, I think this could actually be an interesting project. And yes, I already have something set up on the main website for people to submit their stories in and learn a little bit more about what we have in mind. Go ahead and bring the link up on the screen. So, like I said, the idea is to allow people to share their true stories, no matter what sort of the context may be. Because one of the things that kind of set me and Chris up on going down this route was we felt that some of our previous affiliations were trying to restrict us because we were we were wanting to explore areas that might be sensitive to others. And granted, they had somewhat of a decent reason. It is touchy subjects. But in the same light, if you're truly going to explore, especially the supernatural, where you're dealing with people's mentality, they could have a situation at home that's triggering the activity, or people's all around culture. Sometimes you're going to come across some pretty nasty situations, and I'm not just talking about demons. Sometimes it's the people that are the worst.
It's weird, but like there's folk in the chat there that's had some amazing experiences. I mean, amazing experiences. But Pete, do you want to do that? Do you want to send something in? Because I would love to hear Pete. When Pete was doing his travels across America, right? He'd tell a story. And the Twitter, I don't know if you read it. It was about a campfire kind of story, and it was a ghost story. And I was like, "Holy shit, that's a good story." I don't know where you go that for, Pete, but it's bloody good. But there's Dots too. I mean, Dots has always been into the what do you call it, the UFOs, hasn't he?
Yeah, like I said, and and this is something that we've had a couple of people already message me, ask, "Hey Dakota, what are you talking about? What's going on?" And I want to try to elaborate this. Many of the audience who've followed us for a while now know that my story gets all sorts of messed up at the beginning. It's what set things off. You deal with psychic phenomenon, you have either people going through a rough patch or people taking to a nasty blows to the head. Hell, there's even stories out there where I've heard people who had issues with drug addictions have a wake-up call when all of a sudden their photos are being taken and there's what looks like demons in the background.
Aye. I've heard about that. It's as if they're waiting to collect the soul.
Either waiting to collect the fresh meat, or it's meant to be a nasty wake-up call saying if you don't turn around and get your life in gear, you're not going to like what's going to happen to you. It's a scary thought. And I've seen a few of these photos to where even I'm looking at it like, holy crap, that is a messed up dog.
As long as Pete doesn't start spamming the chat with smiley dog.
Oh, dear Lord.
I couldn't help that.
You just had to bring that up. You just had to put that in his head.
I didn't mean that. Pete, don't share that.
Oh, God. But anyway, like I said, I would like to build up to the documentary by starting off with a ghost anthology, something that's a little easier to put together. So there's a little submission form. There's a little bit of legal mumbo jumbo, but it helps protect everybody. You have a situation like Baby Reindeer where the gal who the stalker was inspired of found out got named by internet sleuths and now suing Netflix. And she's not really denying the fact that she did all that crap either. But nevertheless, I know, and I know there's a lot of people that don't like dealing with those forums, but it helps protect everybody's interests. It puts it in as plain of English as I can possibly get it. And I think that maybe it could do some good. I mean, our printing partner helps us get out to like 44,000 different stores, libraries, universities, schools. And there's a lot of people that are starting to realize maybe those crazy people they made fun of for believing in ghosts are onto something.
Look,
I mean, the topic about UFOs has clearly shifted.
I think we're entering a new stage in the kind of paranormal, and this is the honest truth. I think we are heading into a new stage. People are starting to open up to it a lot more. Because I've noticed that, especially on TikTok, there's a lot of people talk about like near-death experiences, but it's not just near-death experiences, end-of-life death. I've been watching a lot on there because I ken some folks shouldn't really video somebody dying. Get what I mean? And then put it out there as long as they've got permission. Get what I mean? It should be fine. But I think it's becoming I think it's something we should really look into. See in Japan, people don't realize, but see in Japan, the kids actually learn about the afterlife and the spirit world. And I think it would be a good thing for the Western world to learn things, because then it makes you know that your granny, your grandpa, your mum, your dad, or whatever, you will probably see them again eventually. Okay, I mean, and I think it helps with mental health too, because you think about it, you get somebody that's just lost somebody, right? And they're distraught, they don't know what to do, they want to end it, on. You shouldn't do that. Anyway, but that will help them to know that their loved one, you will see their loved one again, and they have to enjoy their lives.
And I will say there's a lot of people who, well, now granted, they're grieving, they're going through their process.
Yeah,
they're trying, that just lost their loved ones, to where a lot of us have to kind of sit back, kind of feel like this individual's trying to milk the fact that they've had loved ones just pass away to get away with certain stuff. You ever meet someone like that?
That's interesting. No, I've no actually, but that's interesting. But Son the Naked Bigfoot says the Tokyo newspaper actually posts.
I've heard about that, but yeah, in Japan, it's a very open topic over there.
Yeah,
it's China, especially, where the idea of spirits. I mean, when I went on the Great Wall, you could feel that some of those soldiers that were around on that thing were still around. It just had that vibe to it.
I have ken folk that are, and I don't know why they do it. They say they're into ghost hunting and all that kind of stuff, but they don't believe in the afterlife. But they only do it to make money on YouTube.
Yeah, and let's face it, unless you manage to get into the thousands and thousands of viewers at least, you don't really make enough to
Jesus.
make it past the payment holds.
2,800 views will get you $1.
Sounds about right.
So if you work that out, we say like 1 million views. If you're lucky to get 1 million views, that is what, about $30,000-$40,000, something round about that. But then if you're in America, in America they tax that.
Yep.
In the UK, I think it's different, but it's out a certain amount.
Yeah, in the US, it's a little different state to state, but it's usually, if you say, like, as a side income in general, you don't necessarily get taxed if you make more than $10,000 within the year.
Yeah. That's a
So there's a lot of people that go into this stuff, maybe make a few extra bucks here and there. Let's face it, there's a lot more of us seeking out that type of stuff with inflation.
But here's a question I'm going to raise to you. I'm going to raise this documentary is a great idea, right? I think it's a brilliant idea, and it's everybody in the chat probably think it's a better idea, especially with the book. Okay, I mean, with everybody's stories and stuff like Rosalind Cooper. What's that, Rosalind Cooper? Let me finish, then I'll read that before this will gaff the store. But you still need funding.
Yeah.
You need funding.
Yeah.
And that's the main thing. What's that, Robin Cooper? So, Christopher, you didn't get to tell you all the, oh my God, sir, what's this? Can't read that. It's awfully far away.
Oh, the tea. Oh my fucking God, sir. Let me tell you, since you told me about the carefulness because you've seen something wrong with the motorcycle and the accident, well, my boyfriend's ... probably typing more as we speak.
Oh, I probably did, right. But anyway. Right. So you need money, but where are you going to get the money from? Unless there's a billionaire watching this, or a multi-millionaire,
Hey, what's up, Lewis? But that's the point.
Lewis, it's getting better, my friend. The antibiotics are helping.
you're not wrong, man. We need the funding. We need the funding to, not just maybe do a little bit of travel, but maybe get some help with the editing. Get the captions made up for the distribution partner. We still have the distribution partner to help us get out to all these different streaming platforms, and they don't charge anything, so that's helpful. But nevertheless, we still need funding in order to make it happen. That's where the anthology is. Hopefully, we'll start those dominoes to fall.
Right. Humour me here and kidding that I'm an idiot for Scotland.
Oh, that's not exactly anything new.
Yeah,
okay.
Just humour the people in the chat.
All right, come on.
How much would it take to make a documentary? Cheap as possible. And I mean, like cardboard cutouts, like ghosts and stuff like that. If you could be really cheap.
The term you're looking for is called shoestring budget.
Oh.
That's what it's called.
Yeah.
And at minimum, that's roughly around 15,000.
Well, it's not actually.
Plus, one thing I would like to do, because, like I said, I would be very impressed if you were to find someone who did not have some sort of story that set off their interest when it comes to anything in regards to supernatural, aliens, ghosts, cryptids, what have you. But one thing I have noticed is that you could draw some very serious connections with mental health, and that's part of the main underlying tone of it. To draw those connections towards mental health, utilizing supernatural topics as somewhat of the lure. Because let's face it, what was that film? There was a film that proposed the idea that a scientist was able to prove that the afterlife existed, but it initiated basically mass suicides.
Right.
What was that film? I can't remember. But
oh, you talking about the one where everybody was killing themselves?
Yeah, because they realized the afterlife was real.
Oh, I thought you were meaning that other one where there was like a chemical in the air that was causing folk to kill themselves.
Oh, no. You're talking about I believe that's happening with Mark Wahlberg, where it turned out to be the plants that was causing issues. Yeah. But no, it was I believe it's Jason Segel's. Anyway, the revelation like this would cause some concerns. It's going to be a little bit better now, but there's still a lot of people who would probably have to question a lot about their life because they realize, yes, this stuff's true, but it's not exactly how they portrayed it in Sunday school.
I'm going to say this again, and it's nothing against religion, right? There's nothing against the people that the Christians that went and burned me at the stake for this. The Bibles know what you think it is, right? The afterlife has been around for ever, right? And it's know what you think it is. Angels are know what you think they are, right? Mike Kadai explain it. He had a good way of explaining things. Kind of how you explained it with the Loa and how the serpents and stuff like that is through time. Okay, I mean, that's how I see it now. Because you got to remember, before the world was here, everybody thinks before Earth existed that Christianity didn't exist. What I'm trying to say is that God didn't exist. There's civilizations out there that have long gone died in the cosmos that had religion. Get what I mean? I'm going to say this now. The Bible's made up, right? 99.9% of it is made up, right? There's more. There is an afterlife, again, that, but it's not what you think it is. That's what I'm just going to say. I've got probably bumped at the state for that now.
Nothing is exactly the way it seems, and everybody's seeing that now, and that's the underlying meaning behind the word apocalypse. Yeah, I saw.
I can't help myself. Good to bring it up.
That's the underlying term behind the apocalypse, is that the veil's starting to thin. People are starting to realize that not everything's exactly how it seems. But again, that kind of brings back to why this sort of project could be helpful, because we've already have several millions of people who have already had their own experiences. And yes, while the social media and stuff does find ways to help us all find each other, to be able to connect, share stories, to try to understand that, one, we're not exactly alone out there, and two, there is something real to this, there's still very much another struggle. And that's why I also made sure, put in plain bold letters, that this is not a project for judgment.
Yeah.
You know, we see
it
all the time. We see it all the time. There's cycles of bullying and discourse. And I'll say it myself, that we've ended up ourselves we found ourselves getting wrapped up in it and not exactly handling it in the best of light. I'll say it.
I'm going to say, how are you going to iron out the people that talk a load of absolute shite? It's like Son of the Naked Bigfoot says, Pete says he was met a lot of batshit people on TikTok, but in general, in the paranormal world, there's people out there that have made up some utter shit, but folk believe them.
Because the type of project that we're talking about will weed people out. Because they're, granted, like I said, our film distribution partner, they could help us get onto Gaia, Vudu, or Fandango, Home now as it's called, Netflix, all the big streaming platforms out there. So yeah, that's going to attract some of these, publicity seekers. But they're going to weed themselves. But kind of like that individual when we were doing the readings that was getting upset because we weren't acknowledging they came in the room when we were busy with someone else. Those people are going to expose themselves very quickly, and there's already a list of people that are being watched.
I've seen that. Look, I've seen it in the ghosty world. I've met some absolute crazy people out there. I'm going to say that. People talk shit, they fall by the roadside, exactly, Pete. But what I'm going to say is I've met some crazy ones. I've met some crazy ones that have just made it up, made it totally, absolutely up.
Mm-hmm.
And they're still going to today. They're still basing their YouTube channels off it and stuff like that. I just can't get it. How folk fall for it. What's that? Having my dad being who he helped us develop
a very accurate bullshit detector. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, remember that guy? It was about 2 years ago. Remember the guy with problems with him because he said he killed a megalodon. And he was in the Navy.
God, I remember that.
Remember that?
I remember that guy.
This one. There was this guy. He said he killed Bigfoot single-handedly with a cocktail stick or something like that. And something stupid. He was in the woods eating his dinner, and Bigfoot jumped out and tried to run away with his dinner, but he beat him up and killed him. But then he had got a job in the US Navy, recruited him because he was the only man capable of launching the torpedo that would kill the megalodon.
Like Louise is saying here, the ones who are in it to fake it beat themselves out very quickly when you know what to look for. And granted, there's probably going to be some people that say, "Oh, you too fake your shit." Nah. I'll admit my story has changed sometimes, but there's a natural progression as I'm understanding things better. It's another way you also got to look at it, is that there's so much BS already out there, it's hard to tell who you should really trust. And it's going to be very difficult to truly weed everybody out. Not everybody may get included, but nevertheless, the right people always find a way to shine through.
Yeah,
I do truly believe that.
There's Pete. That's a new level of howling. I know. When I get sent the thing, oh, this guy's doing this and that, and I was like, holy shit! I went onto his Twitter, and he said he'd hand-to-hand combat with Bigfoot because he ran away with his sandwich.
Yeah.
Oh god, come on! You got to remember there is some people out there that are absolute raving lunatics, right?
Like Iron Firehorse says, there's certain individuals who probably qualify as mentally ill who are so dedicated to the story they believe their own delusions.
That's interesting you say that, because there is people out there that think they're the masters of the universe and they've got the powers to do anything they want, but in actual fact they don't have any powers whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
They just make you think, you know. They just make you think that, oh, they're all powerful and they can get you. Ooh, can I hang at me?
Very true.
Why is my chat not working? I have to keep pressing it.
Don't bug out about that one that came through Twitch. It's a spam one.
No, I'm just clicking on it. I was like, I've been getting it too. And would you call it?
Yeah, we're gonna get it no matter what. How's it going, Rasheen?
But I think it's a good idea, and the book idea too, with everybody's stories, is a really good idea. We might need about 50 or 60 volumes for Pete, but
probably
it'll be like the World Britannica, you know, from A to Z.
So, like I said, those people, anybody who wants to take part, there's your
Pete,
submission right on the screen, and there will be a link in the description for everybody who listens in on the audio side of this broadcast.
Yeah.
So like I said, I don't know, something about how last week with how the readings were doing kind of inspired me. It's like, you know what, maybe it's time we push this thing forward.
Yeah. So if there's any millionaires that would like to donate $20,000, so as we don't need to get the cardboard cutouts, say like Bigfoot. Hey Pete, do you want to chase some people? They're telling their stories through the woods. We could get Pete to dress up as Bigfoot and chase after them for like the video footage and stuff like that, you know.
See, like, actually, Roisin makes a very good point here. She writes, I heard a theory recently that poltergeists are our own projection of fear, etc. Yeah, that's why a lot of groups will actually say one of the first signs of potential poltergeist is a young woman, just entering into puberty to her mid-20s. Because something is going on mentally that is projecting out into the physical environment. That's one of the theories out there. That it's not necessarily ghost. It's well, let's say you have a Stephen King Carrie situation.
I mean, you can bring power into something if you totally believe it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, you can manifest stuff. It's like, what is it, a topa? If everybody, like, talking about like topas, remember we had a show about that. If you manifest, if everybody, you do an experiment. Yeah, I mean, but there you go.
I mean, hell, there's stories out there of authors who swear up and down to this day that people and things out of their books that were supposed to be completely fictional somehow managed to manifest into reality. I mean, hell, there's a guy who was an animator for Planet of the Apes comics, and he was drawing out the scene of a woman being held hostage by a gorilla, and all of a sudden, story goes that he hears his wife screaming in another room, and there's this big dude holding a gun up to her that broke into their house.
Yeah.
So yeah, these stories are out there. And yeah.
Oh, he's froze, ladies and gentlemen. They're
going to sound absolutely crazy when you go into it. But I'm not frozen.
That is just crazy. I don't know if anybody's seen that. I don't know if anybody's seen that. As it's what's this at? That was at 46 minutes in. You froze and then you went really, really, really quick.
It could just be something on your end.
No, I was watching it through my 5G.
Yeah. Yeah, Mr. 5G fiber optic.
And it's probably a
And
radiator.
had all those issues.
And stuff right with me.
Yeah. But still, and some of these stories may sound absolutely crazy, but nevertheless, it's out there. So let's bring it to the forefront.
Yeah.
Show people that they're not alone in this.
We should.
Like I said,
you play the trailer for them, and then we could talk about stuff after the trailer.
The trailer's not to do with the anthology.
Right.
But for those who followed sort of my ET side of things and have been wanting me to write a book that goes more into detail, I will say this. It's almost done. And I figured since we were talking about, the future of Bald and Bonkers, I put together a little trailer for y'all. Was trying to upload it into the system itself, but it kept saying a server error on me.
Yeah. It's quite interesting what Son of the Naked Bigfoot's saying. He's playing about with tones for Mothman.
I'm running through some Mothman tones for tonight. They got shit from Mothman out there too? Fuck. Well, they do try to say Mothman is an ET, so.
Don't worry, Pete. We'll have a full 2-minute silence for you if we never hear from you again.
Anyway.
There we go.
Only 2 minutes? Only 2 minutes for a poor old Pete? God.
5 minutes then.
I see how you are. I see how you are, motherfucker.
Give them 2 minutes. I usually give everybody 30 seconds, but give them 2 minutes.
Does the trailer have any full frontal? Oh, come on. Dakota, did you hear the audio anomaly on Dr. Sella and JP's interview? Yeah, that was, if I'm not mistaken, that was the one where Una came through, wasn't it? Who knows? You might hear some audio anomalies for some of the interviews I have lined up coming up here shortly outside of Bald and Bonkers. But still.
It's true what Pete says. We could dress you up as a woman, Dakota.
I would make for a very ugly woman. Just look at my sisters.
I don't know. We could get Pete with his makeup cat or something to make you look a wee bit more interesting, Get you all dolled up,
I don't know. I did use that Reface app to put my face on my girlfriend's body, and it did kind of make me look like Mike with a little wig on.
Oh my God. I'm damaged for life now.
Yeah, because I chose a picture where my facial hair came in. But anyway, shall we get started with the trailer?
Let's go. Trailers. We're all sitting here with popcorn ready.
All right.
Hello, my love. I've missed you. Shall we tell them our story?
In the shadows of my mind,
you of all people should know there's nothing more that I want.
Whispers of a haunted past, and I'm the one. I was the nightmare. Can you see me now? Through the darkness and the pain, in your eyes I find a way that breaks these chains.
If there's one thing I can ask of you in this moment, my starlight angel, please do not ever forget my gratitude for you. I love you.
I found a way to heal my soul. With you I am whole. With you I am whole.
What do you think?
I've already seen it obviously a couple of times. I think it's really good.
Thank you. I wrote the song myself.
There you go, guys. See, if he feels in podcasting, he can now start his own band. You've got your own band, haven't you?
Yeah, we got Starlight Amnesia. That's what it's called. That's who produced the music.
There we go. If anybody wants to join the band, please contact Dakota. Pete, if you want to join with the tambourine,
God, no, we're gonna. There's no open applications at this moment. For fuck's sake.
Joke, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, come on.
Rip out your.
Kate, I was
I'm
thinking we
gonna
should do a
scout and they rip
call-in
out your
one night.
fucking teeth.
We should do a call-in one night.
A call-in.
You know how you get like a cheap mobile phone with a SIM card on it, right? And then just give that number out, say, and see what happens. The phoning the
Oh,
show.
dear God. You know we have people that would take full advantage of that to try
Oh, I
to
know.
raise hell.
I don't know.
Because
Maybe
you just had to go piss people off. No, just
well, I don't piss anybody off. Ow, that hurt. Look, I can't help it if I'm just annoying.
annoying.
Mhm.
Hey!
Honestly,
Jinx on the floor.
I don't know what it is. I can walk into a room, no say a word, and then walk out at the end of it, and everybody just wants to murder me.
A Scotsman who doesn't say a word?
I know. But there you go. But it's a very good trailer, you know.
Yes. Done the editing and the music all myself.
I think everybody in the chat should become a part in your documentary.
No.
You could actually do that. You could have a part in the documentary if you donated towards it.
I know. We'll probably try to set up some sort of GoFundMe for that later on. So we got to build up to it.
And
So
it's going to be a certain amount. It's not like 5p.
No, I think one of the things that went wrong last time is that we tried to take on too much all up front.
Oh, aye.
But we learned from our mistakes. We'll have something very good coming about. There's a blue jay trying to communicate with the tones I'm mixing. Really?
Don't be getting pecked to death, Pete.
Oh, you knew how his father liked his peckers.
Don't be getting any of my ideas. He'll be lying in that tent tonight waiting for Mothman to come.
Hey, there's some people who swear they've seen Mothman-like beings during abduction scenarios.
Maybe that's what Mothman is. Maybe it's... See, everybody thinks it's just the same Mothman. How do we not know it's multiple Mothmen? Of course, in this day and age, you're not really allowed to call Mothman. And I'm amazed that you actually allowed to say that.
Oh,
it
God.
Should be Moth Turnip or something. Or, get what I mean?
Iron Fire giving people the option to pay for a spot where someone not authentic just paying their way, in my opinion. Well, you got a point. And there's a lot of people who would take up on that, but the plan's in motion. We'll have something. We'll have spots in place. And like I said on the submission form, we have partners that do help watch this that are going to help make sure we do this thing right.
Yeah.
That will completely blacklist people that step out too much out of line for their comfort.
Yeah.
But that's going to be left up to their discretion.
See, I hope it works out. That's what I'm going to say. Because I know when we first started this, you did have a lot in your plate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
we loaded too much too soon, and we're pretty much made the mistake of just letting anybody who showed up to take part.
Yeah.
You know, people that didn't seem to have the best intentions in mind.
But the book idea is quite good. I see a book where everybody's like, maybe the first 3 pages was Pete, and then the next 3 pages was Louise, and the next 3 pages was you, and then the next. I think that'd be really good, because it'd be a story.
And like I said, this is not about judgment. This is not about any of that bullshit. It's about getting the stories out there. Because who knows? of you who may feel that your story is a little too out there, too depressing, or anything like that, maybe the fact that you live to tell the tale may actually be able to help somebody.
There's people out there with some absolutely amazing stories, and I mean amazing stories. And I think
there's-
it'd be a good thing to tell. I think it really would be a good thing to tell.
I'll only participate if I can do full nude illustrations. Oh dear Lord.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. But you have
I will
to
say
run
this.
through the woods.
I will say this.
Hmm.
If now, I'll admit there's an option in there, the way the form's set up. If you happen to have photos to corroborate your story and you would like to have them included, you can.
Is you basically just asking, and I know right kind of way, to tell Pete that he can send you nude photos through your website?
No.
I couldn't help myself.
No, I was
look,
just
ladies and
using
gentlemen, it was
Pete's
him that asked
remark to say
It was
that.
him that asked that.
I
Look,
will
you
say,
get that's going to
you
happen,
know,
didn't you?
why are you wanting to see Pete naked in the first place?
No.
You
You said
Christopher.
You said that.
No judgment here, brother. I love you like a brother. If that's what you're into, I support you. You know, as long as the relationship's healthy. You know,
It's fine.
I just. Yeah, he might need to lube something up there to
Pete, I need
help
some
you
of your
out with some
paranormal
mouth
lube.
work. Help with some mouth work, but no, we're getting off trail. But no, I am saying that if you happen to have photos that corroborate your story, you can submit those in as well if you like.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you have a paranormal group and you want to have a chance of a little bit of free exposure, that's okay too.
That's good.
Help people find groups that perhaps are near them that can help them out. Old lady with saggy boobs. We'll talk about old hag stories. I'm reading the chat, ladies and gentlemen. I know there's some people that don't like how raunchy we can get sometimes, but it's called Bald and Bonkers for a reason.
Oh, Christ, because I do tarot card readings, I'm classed as a devil worshipper. I wouldn't worry about it.
Just because we're talking about this type of stuff means we're devil worshippers in some communities. Even though the Vatican is putting out statements on accepting that type of stuff now.
But I'm talking about crazy religious Christian type people.
I know. And I know what you mean, brother.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. So what's happening next? Well, I came of got Iron City, but that's not until the next month.
Oh, you managed to actually get something with them booked?
But it's later. It's got to be 11 p.m. at night because it gives them a wee bit longer.
All right. Our usual days on that one?
Saturday and Sunday. Saturday and Sunday.
All right. Hey, I'm just making sure. It's like I do work, man.
Mm.
It's like I do have a day job on top of this shit. Well, night job, but you know what I mean.
Mm. I don't know. I think we're all going mad, guys.
So, I don't know. I don't think we have much planned for next week just yet.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I don't know when I'll be back doing the cards. I'm going to wait till I'm fully better before I start going back. Yeah, I mean, because even you're doing a reading, your face feels like it's going to explode. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, very true. Very true.
I mean, would you call it, puts you totally off.
Very true.
But yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, probably out of curiosity, what are you doing this week, Dakota? Are you doing any shows this week?
No, not yet. I actually do have an interview that I believe, is pre-recorded, going down on Thursday. But we'll get into the grinds soon enough. If
I think it's a good idea. Yeah, I think the idea with the book's got to be a good idea because there's a lot of people in the chat saying they've got like stories and stuff to tell.
Oh yeah, I imagine our audience will definitely have some stories to tell. So link, before we close out, we'll bring the link back up on the screen for the channels that don't get the chat messages. And scroll. There we go. Link will be in the description for those of you who listen to the audio side of this. Chris, you got anything to say before we close out?
I'll be doing I will do a live through the week sometime, but I'm going to wait until my mouth doesn't feel like agonizing, shooting pain. It's not as bad as it was, but I will start my card readings again when I'm feeling better.
All right.
Because it puts me off when I'm trying to do a card reading. You know what I mean? But I will be back. I'm like the Terminator.
Interesting model of Terminator.
I know.
For those of you
I think I'm the B5000 pain in the
Terminator
arse.
from Temu, but
that's terrible.
But for those of you interested in Friends and Files, especially after the little announcements that new information has come forward, if you listen carefully to the trailer with a good pair of headphones in, there's a little bit of a hint of where that rabbit hole goes down. Hidden in the audio. So, little Easter egg.
Watching it back, guys. Better watch it back.
And be sure to listen carefully because there may be something in there you would not expect. I certainly wasn't fucking expecting it when it came up, but unfortunately, it's panning out a little too well.
I'll be fine, Dakota. I'm sure the aliens will be only with you the night for a couple of hours.
Yeah, maybe. Then we'll just have plenty of time with my wife and girlfriend.
Live long and prosper, everyone. I couldn't help
That's
myself to do the old Will.
All right. Anyway, much love. Take care.
Goodbye,
See you
everyone.
on next time.
Bonkers.